Hey, everyone, and welcome back. Today, we're going to be doing a deep dive into something I think is super interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Quantum leaping.
Okay.
We're going to be looking at a YouTube video by Jillz Guerin, and it's called How to Actually Quantum Leap and Change Your Reality. It's funny because I was thinking about this the other day.
Oh, really?
Have you ever just had this feeling like there's a different version of you out there?
Yeah, like just waiting to be unlocked.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what we're going to be talking about today.
I love that. Jill's video is really great. She does a really good job of like breaking down this complex topic.
So let's start with like the basics.
Okay.
What is a quantum leap?
Well, Jill's describes it as moving from one state or reality to another.
Okay.
It's kind of like leveling up in a video game, but for your life.
I like that.
Yeah, and the thing that I think is like the most mind-blowing part of this whole concept is that she talks about the idea that there are multiple realities that exist at the same time with different versions of you in each one.
So like infinite possibilities.
Exactly. It really like challenges us to rethink like what we believe about reality.
Totally. Okay, so then that brings us to, I think, one of the core principles of this whole quantum leaping thing,
yeah.
Frequency, right?
Yes.
Jillz talks about how the universe communicates through energy, specifically like our vibration and frequency.
And our thoughts and beliefs actually shape that frequency.
Whoa. Okay, so hold on.
Yeah.
If we're like constantly thinking negative thoughts, we're actually like attracting more negativity into our lives.
That's exactly it. You know, it's interesting because there's actually a scientific basis for this.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So think about like sound frequencies, how different sound frequencies create different notes.
Okay.
While our thoughts and emotions, they actually emit these energetic vibrations that impact our reality.
So it's like we're tuning into a certain radio station.
Exactly. And if we're tuned into like a station that's playing all doom and gloom all the time,
then that's what we're going to get.
Right. But here's the good news.
What's that?
We have the power to change the station. We can like shift our thoughts and beliefs and actually attract a more positive reality.
Okay, so it's not just about like, thinking positive thoughts. It's about like really believing them.
Exactly. And that's where this idea of like normalizing your desires comes in.
Oh, yeah. Jillz talks about that a lot.
Right. She really emphasizes how important it is to make our desires feel as ordinary and natural as possible.
Okay, so instead of thinking like, I wish I could win the lottery, it's more about feeling like winning the lottery is something that happens to me.
Exactly. Even if it hasn't happened yet.
Okay, so we're kind of shifting our internal reality to match the reality that we want on the outside.
You got it.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting because often when we actually achieve something that we've normalized, it might not even feel that exciting.
Why?
Because it already feels familiar.
Oh, that's so weird to think about.
I know, right? It's like when you finally buy that car you've always wanted.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay, this is cool.
Yeah, you're not like freaking out.
Right, exactly. It's like, well, I've been picturing myself driving this car for so long.
Yeah, this just feels normal now.
Exactly, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't normalize our desires. It's more about like we're bridging that gap, our current reality and our desired reality.
Okay, so then how do we actually normalize those desires?
Well, she talks about a few techniques in her video.
Okay.
And one of like the most powerful ones is visualization.
Okay. Everyone knows about visualization.
Right, but this isn't just about like daydreaming.
Got it.
It's about creating these really vivid, detailed mental images and like engaging all of your senses.
Like a movie in your mind.
Exactly. You're the star and you're living that dream life.
I love that.
And what's amazing is that our brains,
Yeah.
they don't actually distinguish between real experiences
Get out.
and like vividly imagined ones. Yeah, there was this study that showed people who only imagined doing bicep curls.
So they weren't actually doing it.
No, they were just imagining it.
Wow.
And they still gained significant muscle strength.
Just from thinking about it.
Yes.
That's incredible.
It really shows you the power of our minds.
This is so crazy. Okay, so we've got visualization.
Yeah.
What else does she talk about?
Another powerful technique is changing our point of reference.
Okay.
And what that means is like we're deliberately exposing ourselves to the environment and the people that align with our desired reality.
Oh, so like if I want to be a successful entrepreneur,
Yeah,
I should start hanging out with other successful entrepreneurs.
exactly. By immersing yourself in that world, even if it's just through like books or podcasts or online communities,
Yeah.
you start to kind of absorb the energy and the beliefs of that reality.
It's like if you want to learn a new language,
Right.
you wouldn't just like study the grammar rules.
Right. You would immerse yourself in the language.
Ground yourself with it.
Yeah.
You got it.
This is so fascinating.
I know, right?
It's like we're hacking our brains to believe in our dreams.
In a way, I guess we are.
But then there's this other part too,
Oh, yeah.
about where we're focusing our energy.
Right. Jillz talks about this too.
Yeah, we got to focus on what we want.
Not what we don't want.
Yeah, I feel like I've heard that before. Like,
Yeah.
don't think about a pink elephant.
Exactly. The more you try not to think about it, the more it
Yeah.
pops into your head.
And it's the same with our desires.
Totally. Like if we're always dwelling on what we don't want,
Right.
like being broke or being lonely or being stuck in a dead-end job, we're actually giving those experiences more power.
Oh, so like
Yeah.
instead of saying like, I don't want to be stressed, it's more effective to say, I am calm and peaceful.
Yes.
Yes.
It's about shifting your language and your thoughts
Okay.
to align with the frequency of what you actually want to experience.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay, so we've talked about normalizing our desires, visualizing, changing our point of reference, focusing on what we want. What else is there?
Well, she also talks about this really interesting concept called the ladder of belief.
The ladder of belief.
Yeah, she says that we can only achieve what we truly believe is possible for us.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Right, like if you don't believe you can do something.
You're probably not going to put in the effort.
Exactly. And she uses this really great analogy of a ladder.
Okay.
So instead of trying to like make this huge leap
Yeah.
to something that feels completely out of reach,
Uh-huh.
you want to identify like the highest step on that ladder that actually feels believable right now.
Oh, okay. So like baby steps.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
So like instead of trying to manifest $1 million overnight,
Yeah.
maybe you start with like manifesting a new client
Oh, okay.
or a raise at your current job.
Okay. I like that. Or like if your dream is to travel the world,
Yeah.
but even like a weekend getaway feels overwhelming right now. You could start by like exploring a new part of your city.
Yeah. Or planning a short road trip.
Yeah, exactly.
It's about building momentum.
in confidence, one step at a time.
I like it. Okay, so then what about those times when we're doing all the right things?
Yeah.
We're visualizing, we're taking action, we're aligning our energy,
Yeah.
but things just aren't happening as quickly as we want them to.
Ah, yes. The in-between space.
I hate that space.
I know it's a common experience for people on this journey. And it's often the point where doubt and fear creep in,
Oh, yeah, big time.
right? You start to question if it's even working.
Totally. And it's so tempting to just give up.
I know, but this is where Jill's advice on approaching this process with softness and ease is so important.
Okay.
She really emphasizes the importance of letting go of the need to force things and embracing the unfolding of the universe's plan.
Yeah. It's like we're trying to dance with the universe, you know,
Oh, I like that.
instead of trying to wrestle it into submission. And when we release that grip of control and we allow things to kind of unfold naturally, the journey often becomes much smoother.
And enjoyable.
Exactly. It's like when you're trying to force a square peg into a round hole.
Yeah.
It's just going to create frustration.
Yeah, you can keep pushing, but it's not going to work.
Right. But when you let go and you find the right fit,
Yeah,
everything clicks into place.
effortlessly.
And Jill's actually uses a really helpful analogy in her video to kind of describe this process.
Oh, yeah, what's that?
She compares it to navigating a river.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. She talks about how doubt and fear and inaction, all that stuff, creates a rough current.
Right.
But trust and inspired action smooth the way.
Exactly. So when we're constantly like second guessing ourselves or worrying about the outcome or procrastinating on taking action, it's like we're paddling upstream against a strong current.
Oh, so exhausting.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It makes the journey so much harder.
But when we trust the process and we believe in ourselves and we're taking inspired action,
Yeah,
it's like we're just gliding downstream with the current.
exactly. Everything feels aligned and effortless.
I love that image.
Yeah. And it doesn't mean that we just like sit back and passively wait for things to happen.
Okay.
Inspired action is still crucial,
Okay.
but it's about taking action from a place of alignment and trust rather than fear and desperation.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so then how do we know when we're taking inspired action versus just forcing things?
That is a great question.
Because it can be kind of hard to tell sometimes.
It can be, and Jill's offers some really helpful insightful insights on this in her video.
Oh, okay. What does she say?
Well, she talks about the importance of tuning into our intuition.
Oh, okay.
And paying attention to those subtle nudges and synchronicities that show up in our lives.
Like those aha moments.
Yes, like when an idea just pops into your head.
Yeah.
Or you randomly meet someone who has the exact information you need at that moment.
Oh, yeah. Those are the best.
I know, right? Those are often signs that you're on the right track.
Okay.
And that the universe is conspiring to support you.
I love that. And those inspired actions,
Yeah.
they often feel effortless and joyful.
Exactly. It's not about pushing and striving. It's about following that inner compass
Okay.
that feels aligned and exciting.
So it's not about white-knuckling our way to our goals.
Yeah.
It's about enjoying the journey and trusting that we're being guided.
You got it.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. And this brings us back to the importance of approaching this whole process with a sense of playfulness and lightness.
Okay.
Because when we take ourselves too seriously or we get too attached to a specific outcome,
Yeah.
we create resistance.
It's like when you're playing a game and you're so focused on winning that you forget to have fun.
Right, exactly. You might miss out on the joy and the spontaneity of the whole experience.
And you probably won't even play as well.
Probably not. And it's the same with quantum leaping.
Okay.
When we approach it with a sense of curiosity, playfulness, and trust, we're more open to receiving those inspired nudges and synchronicities that can guide us towards our desired reality.
I think this is all starting to click for me now. Now it's not about manipulating the universe or trying to force things to happen. It's about aligning ourselves with what we desire and trusting that the universe will support us in like the most perfect way.
Precisely. And this requires a real shift in perspective
Yeah.
from that limited ego-driven mindset to a more expansive, heart-centered one.
So instead of thinking, I need to control everything to make this happen,
Yeah.
it's more about, I trust that the universe has my back
Yeah.
and I'm open to receiving all the good stuff.
Beautifully said. And that shift in mindset is where the real magic happens.
Okay.
It's where we move from a place of lack and limitation to a place of abundance and possibility.
So inspiring. I feel like we've only just scratched the surface of this topic.
I agree. There's so much more to explore,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to like the practical techniques and strategies that can help us actually implement these principles in our lives.
I'm so ready to dive deeper.
Me too.
Okay, so we're back.
And ready to keep exploring this quantum leaping stuff.
I don't know about you, but I'm like feeling so much lighter
Yeah.
after that last conversation.
It's amazing how just like talking about this stuff
Yeah.
can really shift your perspective.
Totally. Like, I feel like I'm seeing the world in a whole new way.
Me too. And one of the things that really stood out to me from Jill's video is how she emphasizes that quantum leaping isn't just about like achieving material success or like manifesting specific outcomes. It's about aligning with our highest selves and becoming like the best versions of ourselves.
I remember her saying something like, what if your quantum leap isn't about getting a new car?
Right.
A bigger house?
Yeah.
But it's about becoming more compassionate,
More loving.
more forgiving.
Exactly. It's like we're talking about expanding our consciousness, evolving our souls, and making a positive impact on the world.
So it's not just about changing our circumstances.
Right.
It's about changing ourselves.
Yeah. From the inside out.
Yeah, so it's not about like faking it till we make it.
No, it's about like genuinely becoming that person
Okay.
that we want to be.
And that takes work.
It does. It requires a commitment to like self-awareness, personal growth, and aligning our thoughts, beliefs, and actions with our values.
Sounds like a lifelong journey.
It is.
A constant process of evolution.
But it's also an incredibly exciting journey.
Yeah.
Filled with like synchronicities, breakthroughs, and a deep sense of purpose.
Well, speaking of purpose,
Yeah.
I remember at the end of her video, Jillz asks this really powerful question.
Oh, yeah. What is it?
What do you have the energetic capacity to align with?
Whoa. That's deep.
Right. It makes you think.
It really does. It's like she's challenging us to really examine our desires, our passions, our unique gifts.
Totally. It's like an invocation to step into our power and claim our birthright as creators of our own reality.
And it reminds us that we're not limited by our circumstances or our past or even our current beliefs.
Right. We have the power to choose what we want to create.
Exactly. And to align ourselves with that vision.
So then what are some things that we can do
Yeah.
to start aligning with our highest potential?
Well, the first step is to become aware of our thoughts and beliefs.
Okay.
Are they supporting our desired reality?
Right. Are they helping us or holding us back?
Exactly, because if we're constantly telling ourselves, I'm not good enough, or I'll never be able to achieve that, we're actually creating a self-fulfilling prophecy.
So we have to cultivate a more positive mindset.
Yeah.
And replace those limiting beliefs with ones that empower us.
Yes, and then once we've shifted our mindset,
Then what?
it's about taking inspired action.
Oh, yeah. Those intuitive nudges
Right, paying attention to those and actually acting on them.
can lead to amazing things.
It can lead to incredible synchronicities and opportunities.
It's like the universe is giving us these little clues
Yeah, little breadcrumbs.
to guide us toward our destiny.
Exactly. And the more we trust those nudges and take action, the more those synchronicities will show up.
So it's like this continuous cycle of alignment and action and trust.
Precisely. And the more we practice this, the more effortless and magical our lives become.
It's so crazy to think about. I feel like we could talk about this forever.
I know. It's such a fascinating topic.
Yeah, and I feel like I've learned so much.
Me too. Hopefully our listeners feel the same way.
I think the main takeaway here is that quantum leaping isn't about forcing things to happen.
Right. It's about aligning with our true selves.
Trusting the process and enjoying the ride.
Beautifully said. It's about surrendering to the wisdom of the universe.
Yeah.
And allowing ourselves to be guided towards our greatest potential.
So to everyone listening out there, what do you have the energetic capacity to align with?
What dreams are you ready to manifest?
And what steps can you take today to start moving towards your desired reality?
Remember, the power is within you.
Trust the process, believe in yourself, and most importantly, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into quantum leaping.
We'll see you next time for another adventure.